Stephanie Lopez, and I graduated with my master's in chemical engineering from Texas Tech University. Go Red Raiders! I now work with Samsung Austin Semiconductor, where I treat all of the wastewater coming from production before it goes back to the city of Austin. So one thing that I really love about Samsung is that even though it is a really big company, I still get to play my part in doing something positive for the city of Austin, for the community, and for the environment. So one main thing that I do for Samsung is that I maintain all of our equipment and all of our instrumentation used to monitoring all of our treatment to make sure that we don't send anything that could be harmful out to the city of Austin. And here we're following like really strict regulations, and we keep everything very, very well maintained. Prior to this, I worked with El Paso Electric, where I treated water that was used to produce electricity. My job at the electric company was power plant chemistry. My main goal for the company was to avoid all of these images from happening, so that way we could maintain equipment and keep everything reliable. So one of my favorite things working at the El Paso Electric Company was that I got to go inside of anything and everything that they would open. Here's a look inside of one of the steam boilers. So this is where we run tons and tons of tubes filled with water, where we would create a fire inside of the chamber using natural gas. Okay, on a last note, I know engineering can be a little intimidating, and it is male dominant, and it could be a little weird walking into your college classes and you're only seeing maybe like 2 other women in the class with you. But don't ever let that hold you back or stop you from pursuing something that you absolutely want to do or you feel strongly about. Some of my best role models were male, some of my best friends were male. I learned so much from them, and I mean, I had such amazing support groups and like strong women organizations such as like Society of Women Engineers and Alpha Omega Epsilon, where everyone is like-minded like you and studying STEM and strong and amazing. And it helped me really get through college, and study partners are number one in engineering. That helped me get through a lot. But yeah, if you're interested in engineering, I would say go through it and go full-hearted, and don't be afraid to continue with it. It'll all be worth it. Bye.
Hi girls, my name is Ashley Rusch. I am a landman at an oil and gas company. I grew up in Midland, so I have grown up around the oil and gas industry. My dad is also a landman. So when I went to college at Texas Tech, I wanted to pursue something in business and wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And then after taking a few classes, I decided that I thought energy was very interesting and I wanted to pursue energy commerce, which is the degree I majored in. And I became a landman. My favorite thing about my job, so first let me tell you a little bit about what my job is. I work the business side of the oil and gas industry, and we prepare the wells, the oil and gas wells, to be ready to drill. We have to work with other companies. We prep our different contracts and do negotiations and just get everything ready to legally be able to drill the wells. So my favorite part about that is working with the other people at my office, working with the other companies, getting to negotiate. I think negotiations are very fun. My least favorite is probably all the paperwork and having to make sure everything's correct, and it's very detail oriented, so sometimes it's a little tedious on the contracts. To be able to be a landman, you have to go to college and get a 4-year degree, so your bachelor's degree. I did my bachelor's degree in energy commerce, which obviously is a degree about energy, but going to college is a very good thing, especially if you want to be a landman. The biggest barrier for me to get to where I am was just probably the degree. It is difficult and it's pretty law-based. So you have to study a lot and you have to stay very driven to be able to get the degree. And the advice I have for you all is just to study hard and figure out what you want to do. And if land work is something that you find interesting, or being in the energy industry, you should start looking things up and asking questions. And if you know people who are in the energy industry, talk to them about what they do and study hard so you can go to college, because with whatever job you want to do, it is highly important to be able to get a degree to be in the business world. So I hope you guys are enjoying camp. I'll talk to you later.
Hi, my name is Kate. I manage a native plant nursery for the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs in Eastern Oregon. And basically what my job involves is growing plants that help to shade our rivers here in Eastern Oregon. The rivers in this part of the country used to be bigger, colder, and had a lot more trees growing along them than they do now. And those changes have been hard for a lot of wildlife, like salmon in particular. And the tribes are especially interested in restoring rivers to how they used to be and conserving salmon populations because salmon are important to tribal culture and food traditions. I wanted to be a nursery manager because I love being outside and I love working with plants and watching them grow from tiny little seeds all the way to mature shrubs and trees. Check this out. The little speck in the center of the vial here is the seed of a black cottonwood tree, which grows to be over 100 feet tall. There's just always something new to learn about plants, and it's rewarding to know that I'm doing what I can to make the world a better place for our rivers and for wildlife and humans too. My favorite part of my job is collecting seeds. I get to go out to really pretty places in the summer and fall to collect seeds from the kinds of plants that I want to grow in the nursery. And sometimes when I'm out, I see cool wildlife. Sometimes I get to pick berries while I work. It's pretty great. My least favorite thing is having to deal with the slime that sometimes pops up in the greenhouse. Gross. I went to school for a master's in horticulture, which is the study of how to grow plants, before getting this job. And I also had experience working in the gardens at Monticello, which is the house on the back of the nickel, Thomas Jefferson's house, which also helped prepare me for the job that I have now, which is a good balance of working with my hands, getting my hands dirty with plants in the greenhouse and outside, and then also doing fancy tricks on the computer with spreadsheets and that sort of thing. One thing that's been tough for me about working in environmental conservation is that I run pretty often into a sort of boys club mentality that values toughing things out and doing things the way that they've always been done, rather than valuing innovation and collaboration to make work smarter and safer for everyone. And something that's been really helpful for me is that I've found a group of women in conservation locally anyone who identifies as a woman in conservation can get together and talk about ways to support each other, build skills, and strengthen our voices in the field. So that's been a huge help to me. If you're interested in working in environmental conservation, my advice would be to look for opportunities to learn about something in nature that gets you really excited or that feels really important to you, because it's really passion that drives projects like the one that I'm working on right now. And also know that it's okay for your interests to change too. A lot of people in this field are really just curious about the world, and that makes it a really fun field to work in. Good luck.